Ling Han showed no particular concern. Within his grasp lay the Black Tower, a supreme treasure capable of nurturing spirit medicines with effortless ease. Ginseng itself possessed the wondrous effect of fortifying vital energy and prolonging life, especially those aged 1,000 years, whose medicinal potency was even more astonishing. To him, 1,000-year-old ginsengs were no different from common carrots. He would pluck as many as he required without the slightest twinge of heartache. Everyone, do not be deceived. A man suddenly strode forward, pointing at the bottle as he spoke. How could this possibly refine a divine spirit? The vein-like patterns upon it are nearly worn away. How much power could possibly remain? Furthermore, how could a treasure capable of refining gods exist within the mortal realm? If it were truly so formidable, could not this very person crush Heaven's Sword Sect, Absolute Saber Sect, and the rest? Would those great sects lack treasured medicines? The crowd could not help but nod in agreement. This bottle was indeed extraordinary, yet it was broken. What strength could it possibly retain that one would exchange the most precious life-extending spirit medicines for it? Who would be willing? Shopkeeper, lower the price. I have 100 origin crystals here. How about it? Shall we trade? I can offer 3 green yang star pills. I'll exchange 5th-tier azure dark gold. One after another, they named prices within the bounds of what they could accept. Though damaged, the treasured tool remained alluring. Its martial intent was almost entirely worn away, yet an imperishable aura still circulated faintly around it, stirring their hearts. No exchange! The old man insisted stubbornly. His lifespan was nearly exhausted, and he had no descendants. He desired only a few more years of life. Other treasures were meaningless. They would merely be buried with him. Then, what about a 300-year-old fleece flower root someone offered? Fleece flower root was an excellent tonic. At 300 years, it was even more extraordinary, capable of extending one's lifespan by at least 10 years. The old man's face revealed hesitation. This treasured medicine fell short of his expectations. Yet after that man's repeated disparagement earlier, even he had begun to doubt that the bottle could command a high price. His heart wavered. This should be a replica of the refined celestial bottle. The true artifact could never descend into the mortal realm, nor could it be damaged so. It was still that same disparaging man. He continued to scrutinize the bottle. Though not genuine and heavily damaged, it still holds some research value. He paused briefly before continuing. I will offer 2 stalks of 200-year-old dark cloud ginseng. Dark cloud ginseng was likewise a spirit medicine that prolonged life. A 200-year-old specimen could extend one's lifespan by around 10 years. Yet its effects could not be stacked. The first consumption would grant full effect. The second would yield only half. Subsequent ones would diminish further and further. Thus, 2 dark cloud ginsengs could at most extend life by 15 years. Yet for one who already had a foot in the grave, 5 additional years of life was an irresistible temptation. The old man's brows lifted. He had nearly agreed earlier, but now, faced with 5 more years of living, he was clearly even more tempted. Ling Han laughed lightly and spoke up. I offer 1,000-year-old white jade ginseng. Hiss! A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. 1,000-year-old spirit ginseng. Was he joking? Though ginseng was a longevity spirit medicine, 1,000 years was its natural limit. Very few ginsengs in existence could grow to such age. It was akin to humans having a lifespan of 100 years. How many mortals truly lived to a full century? Moreover, countless people coveted ginseng. The older it was, the rarer it became. 100-year-old ginseng was like a flower blossom tier expert, pitifully scarce. One above 500 years resembled a deity transformation tier elite. As for a 1,000-year-old one, it was like a shattering void tier supreme existence. So few they could be counted on one's fingers. This youth had called out 1,000-year treasured medicine from the outset. Surely it must be a jest. Even the old man found it hard to believe. Youngster, are you serious? Ling Han raised his hand and casually tossed out a ginseng. You may verify it. The old man caught it and examined it carefully. In truth, he could not fully distinguish authenticity, but the medicinal power of 1,000-year-old ginseng was profound and could be sensed at a glance. Instantly, he was certain that even if it were not a full 1,000 years, it was at least 800 to 900 years of age. That alone would extend his life by over 30 years. His heart surged with joy as he declared, "Very well. This bottle is yours." "Hold on," the disparaging man interrupted, fixing Ling Han with a threatening gaze. After a brief pause, he said, "I will offer 3 700-year-old yellow dragon ginseng." 700-year-old yellow dragon ginseng was naturally inferior to 1,000-year-old white jade ginseng, yet with 3 stalks, their total years surpassed that of the white jade ginseng. The crowd was baffled. Had he not declared earlier that this bottle was worthless? Why now produce 3 treasured medicines to exchange for it? Immediately, they understood. He had intentionally belittled it to reduce competition and secure the treasure at the lowest price. Now confronted with a formidable rival, he still desired the bottle and could only raise his bid. To Ling Han, 1,000-year-old ginseng was of little consequence, yet he had no wish to squander it without reason. After all, the bottle was severely damaged. Aside from studying ancient techniques, it seemed to have little practical use. But why was this man so aggressive, even resorting to underhanded means? Ling Han activated the Eye of Truth and gazed toward the bottle. Its body was indeed gravely damaged. Even if it could still unleash its power, it would likely shatter first. However, at the bottom of the bottle lay a layer of dazzling radiance, blazing like a miniature sun, nearly blinding his eyes. A treasure! Ling Han's heart stirred violently. Those were vein-like patterns, so resplendent that even he could scarcely endure their brilliance. They must be extraordinary. He no longer hesitated. Even if the bottle itself were utterly unusable, those vein-like patterns alone were worth the price. He tossed out another 1,000-year-old ginseng and said, "Then I shall use 2. Measured purely by years, 3 700-year-old yellow dragon ginsengs exceeded 2,000-year-old white jade ginsengs. Yet, considering the diminishing returns of life-extending medicines, the effects of 3 yellow dragon ginsengs were entirely incomparable to 2,000-year-old white jade ginsengs. Anyone could calculate as much." The old man was instantly moved, yet he still looked toward that man, waiting to see whether he would raise the price again. In any case, he intended to sell to the highest bidder to maximize his gain. That man stared at Ling Han and said, "I will add a heart protection pill." The heart protection pill was an exceedingly precious medicinal pill. No matter how grievous the injury, it could save the life of a martial artist below the deity transformation tier and allow them to recover slowly. Among medium-level earth-grade medicinal pills, it ranked among the finest. The old man's blood surged with excitement. With such a spirit pill, he could venture into ancient ruins and perhaps seize an opportunity to break into the deity transformation tier, wresting 200 more years of life from the heavens. That was far superior to any mere life-extending spirit medicine. Ling Han laughed. Competing with the Alchemy Emperor in medicinal pills? As for heaven-grade pills, he indeed lacked the materials to refine them, but earth-grade pills, he possessed them in abundance. Did he truly wish to compete? "I will add 2 more heart protection pills," Ling Han said calmly. Many in the surrounding crowd sprayed out mouthfuls of saliva. These 2 were speaking of earth-grade medicinal pills. Why did they make them sound as common as ordinary wares? Editor. Kurisu. Flames nearly erupted from that man's eyes as he declared, "I am Nong Shuiyun. My great-great ancestor is the heaven-grade alchemist Nong Bo-shin. Brat, are you certain you wish to contend against me?" A collective murmur rose from the crowd in sudden realization. No wonder this fellow could produce medium-level earth-grade medicinal pills so casually. It turned out a heaven-grade alchemist stood behind him as his forebear. Ling Han merely smiled faintly and replied, "We are purchasing an item. Naturally, the higher bid prevails. Why invoke your great ancestor in a matter of trade? Fine. You win." Nong Shuiyun glared at Ling Han with venom in his eyes before turning sharply and striding away. The onlookers could not restrain their laughter. This man's conduct had been disgraceful from the start, belittling the bottle to discourage competitors. Yet now that he failed to secure it, he departed with hollow threats, making a spectacle of himself. Ling Han's expression remained calm. With a casual flick of his wrist, he tossed a jade bottle toward the old vendor, then calmly picked up the refined celestial bottle. The old man hurriedly pulled the cork free and poured out a medicinal pill for inspection. Though no master of alchemy, he could still see the densely interwoven vein-like patterns covering the pill's surface, majestic and intricate beyond measure. Yet, as to its precise nature, he was utterly ignorant. "Rest assured, I would not cheat you," Ling Han said with an easy smile. The old man's face clearly showed doubt. Yet first, the 2,000-year-old white jade ginseng had already reached the price he desired. Second, these 2 medicinal pills appeared extraordinary, far from ordinary wares. By all appearances, he was profiting handsomely regardless. Besides, even had he accepted Nong Sheyun's offer, how could he have verified the authenticity of those pills? Without delay, he began packing away his stall. Having achieved his aim, it was wiser to withdraw quickly, lest he attract ill intent. Though he was of the spiritual infant tier, his qi and blood were gravely depleted. His battle strength was scarcely 1% of his former peak, rendering him no more formidable than a flower blossom tier cultivator in truth. The youths gathered here were all prodigies. Any flower blossom tier genius among them might well overpower him. Naturally, he feared robbery. Though commerce was governed by convention, if someone truly sought to plunder him, who would rise in his defense? The sooner he departed, the safer he would be. Ling Han weighed the bottle in his palm, then activated the Eye of Truth to scrutinize it closely. He discerned a subtle discrepancy at the base. The bottom did not seem to be of one piece with the body. Moreover, the base appeared far older than the rest of the bottle, as though someone had crafted the exterior later to conceal its true nature. Interesting, Ling Han thought. It warranted careful study within the Black Tower. He stored the bottle away and noticed numerous gazes fixed upon him. Wealth should not be flaunted lightly. By producing 2,000-year-old ginsengs and 2 heart protection pills so casually, he had clearly stirred covetous thoughts among those seeking ill-gotten gains. Yet Ling Han was indifferent. Should anyone attempt to rob him, he would not hesitate to strip them bare in return, leaving them without even their undergarments. "Young master, my lady has sent a written invitation requesting your presence at tonight's banquet." Just as Ling Han was preparing to depart, a beautiful servant girl approached and presented a pink invitation. A faint, delicate fragrance drifted from it. Ling Han did not immediately accept it. "And your lady is?" "Boy, you do not even know Lady Small Peach?" Someone sneered nearby. "Lady Small Peach serves Lady Yun personally." "What, Lady Yun? The Wang family's pearl, Lady Yun?" It is said Lady Yun is as beautiful as a celestial maiden, skilled in music beyond compare, and even more gifted in martial arts. At 9 years of age, she was exceptionally admitted into the Azure Thunder sect. Though her fame may not rival Dongling Er's among the 10 greatest beauties of the Middle State, her name is certainly renowned. Beauty like a fairy, battle prowess like a goddess, truly unparalleled. Admiring exclamations filled the air. Wang Yiyun had clearly secured direct admission into the Restore Heaven Academy and was even hosting a banquet nearby. How extravagant beyond measure! The Wang family itself is a powerful martial clan with a legacy stretching far into antiquity. It is said their great ancestor still lives, possessing heaven tier cultivation. Yet advancing into the shattering void tier is likely beyond even him. With the Wang family's wealth, erecting a temporary palace would be a trifling matter. Ah, how enviable. If only I could attend such a banquet. There will surely be no shortage of geniuses granted direct admission to the Restore Heaven Academy among the guests. But why did this fellow receive an invitation? He doesn't look particularly remarkable. All eyes turned toward Ling Han, yet none could perceive anything extraordinary. After a brief contemplation, Ling Han accepted the invitation. "Very well. I shall attend this evening and see what awaits." The servant girl bowed gracefully before departing. The crowd hastily parted for her, treating her with deep respect, further magnifying Wang Yiyun's imposing presence. After all, she possessed direct admission to the Restore Heaven Academy. That qualification alone divided people into ranks. Those admitted stood in the first tier, those without were relegated to the second and third. "Boy, let Uncle Rabbit examine that bottle," the rabbit suddenly demanded, its interest piqued. "Oh, why so?" Ling Han asked absent-mindedly. "First that Nong fellow. Now this banquet invitation. Clearly not because they know your strength. They are eyeing that bottle. At the banquet, they will surely pressure you to surrender it. Uncle Rabbit is curious, the rabbit said knowingly. Linghan blinked in surprise. Your intelligence is unexpectedly adequate. Of course! Uncle Rabbit's mind is unmatched in 500 years past and 500 years hence, peerless and supreme. Wait, do you mean you have always thought Uncle Rabbit a fool? The rabbit abruptly realized. Linghan curled his lip. You said so yourself. You dare insult Uncle Rabbit? I'll claw your face bloody. Ah! Just as the rabbit prepared to lunge, Hu suddenly bit down on its tail, drawing a shrill cry. Do not bully Niu's Ling, or Niu will eat you. Hu declared fiercely. The rabbit feared none but Hu and instantly fell silent. With time still remaining before nightfall, Linghan sought a secluded location and, with a flash, vanished into the Black Tower. Where did that fellow go? The rabbit's red eyes widened. There? He walked into the forest? Hu lied casually. The rabbit remained skeptical, yet Linghan had indeed vanished without a trace. The matter felt exceedingly strange. Within the Black Tower, Linghan immediately began examining the refined celestial bottle. This object could certainly not refine celestials. Linghan concluded inwardly. Without hesitation, pa! He shattered the bottle's body with a decisive strike. As expected, the bottle's exterior was of inferior make, scarcely comparable to fourth-tier rare metals. With Linghan's present physique and brute strength, it shattered effortlessly into fragments. Wang, the base of the bottle floated upward into the air. Upon the surface that had once faced inward, intricate vein-like patterns revealed themselves, complex and profound. They resembled Dao flowers in full bloom, mesmerizing at a single glance. What is this thing? Linghan exclaimed, astonishment surging through him.